I didn't have to do this video. Still might delete the video. We'll see. Tragic. Just terrible. Sad. Sad day. It's a sad day. We're going to dive into it in a second, but it's a sad, sad day. I'm going to let this build a sec. Okay, well, our worst fears were confirmed. So this morning we heard about a plane that was owned by NASCAR's Greg Biffle involved in a crash. We didn't know the details, but we knew 5 were on board. Sadly, we can confirm, because now Cletus McFarland, Garrett Mitchell, has since also released a post saying that the plane was headed to Bradenton, Florida, and that Greg and his family was going to spend the day with him. Sadly, we know that they all have passed away. It's a terrible tragedy. Sad day for NASCAR. Sad day for America. Greg Biffle was a great man. I want to put that first and foremost. I want to mention what he did for the hurricane relief, the flooding relief, flying his helicopter into places that a lot of the rescuers didn't even want to go. He did all that. So I want to remind you what a great man Greg Biffle truly was. He was a great man. This is a devastating day. He was a wonderful humanitarian. His YouTube channel was flourishing. I enjoyed his videos with Cletus. Enjoyed his channel by itself. Getting to see his family. His kids seemed like they were both wonderful. Ryder, his youngest, was always in videos with him. Seemed like just a sweetheart of a child. This news hit so hard. Meeting him at PRI a few years back was a nice, nice treat. It's, you just can't believe something like this happens, but it does. That's life, sadly. I don't know what you can say. It's just, it happened. It's a disgusting tragedy. Everyone's in shock by it. It sadly has been confirmed. It was Greg Biffle, his wife Christina, his daughter Emma, his son Ryder, and then the pilot. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but it's been confirmed that he was also a driver for NASCAR Kenny Wallace for 6 years. He'd tote Kenny Wallace, I guess, around the country from track to track. But that's what I know on the pilot. Don't know anything more about that. But sadly, it was Biffle, his wife Christina, and their 2 little ones, and it's a terrible, terrible tragedy. I'll be first one to admit it. It put me in tears just knowing when you're committed to watching a guy's racing career, and then you watch his YouTube channel, you see the videos with Cletus. It's just it's devastating knowing that this happened. It's just awful news. But yes, it has been confirmed, Tommy. It has. Cletus made a post. The plane was actually headed. They were going to spend the day together. It's very sad. They were going to spend the day together. I can't imagine what Cletus and his family's feeling right now. Also, it's just it's terrible, terrible. But yes, it's been confirmed. I wouldn't make a video without confirming anything. But it's just a day that just gut punches everyone. All I could say is keep obviously the grandparents, his parents, her parents, keep them in prayer. Keep Cletus McFarland family in prayer. The Mitchells. Basically, just keep everyone in prayer. Everyone needs a lot of prayer right now. But yes, it has been confirmed. But getting back to the man Greg was, I remember when I first started liking the Biff, it took a second. I mean, he raced NASCAR, never always thought of him as a great racer, but I wasn't like a huge fan or anything until I remember he was on the show Pastime, if you remember the drag racing world. But he was on the show Pastime, and seeing that all the different things he liked, I'm like, that is a guy everyone can really get on board with. Biffle loved racing, loved cars, loved dirt bikes, loved he was literally the epitome of blue collar racer. And it's terrible he's gone. All I could say is prayer. But what he did though for the community of Florida, Carolina also with the hurricanes and all that, what he meant, risking his life, taking his own helicopter into tight spaces, rescuing people, saving countless lives, bringing thousands upon thousands of dollars in goods and all that. The man was a humanitarian. First off, let's remember he was a great man, and it's a damn shame. Yeah, we're all in shock. If any of you can leave a comment on a good memory you like of Biffle, maybe his YouTube channel, leave a comment though. Be sure to. Man, that's fitting. 16 of you watching. What was his number? 16, if that isn't fitting. But please leave a wonderful comment. Share a great memory of the Biff. That's what this is about. Reflecting on the man he was. And it sucks. It hurts. You don't have to be necessarily like, you don't have to know him in person for it to devastate you. As a fan, I could tell you right now, it hits you. You're committed to them. You feel like they're a part of your family, if that makes sense. It hurts. And getting to meet him at PRI, I could tell you that hits a little closer when you think about something like that. But I don't know. I do hope, Alex, that NASCAR does do something nice for Biffle, yes. Posthumous Hall of Fame, I'd be okay with that. He had a wonderful career. I think he had, around 20 Cup wins, 30 Busch wins, somewhere in there. I mean, he had a good career, great career. elite career. So yeah, I'd definitely be okay with something like that, but it's devastating. It's been confirmed. Greg Biffle, his wife Christina, and their two little ones were unfortunately taken in that plane crash, and it's just it's disgusting to know that happened. But also getting back to the Kenny Wallace, the only thing I know on the pilot is the pilot, I don't know if he flew Kenny. That wasn't clear to me on Kenny's post, but he said he drove him around, so I'm assuming probably just more motorhome. But apparently the pilot drove Kenny Wallace around for 6 years also. So he was, I'd say, a very experienced pilot. But what we know is the plane experienced trouble heading to visit with Cletus McFarland, Garrett Mitchell in Bradenton, Florida. The plane made an emergency turnaround after experiencing a popping in the engine. And sadly, we know they couldn't get the plane landed. But that's unfortunately the news that we have. It's sadly all been confirmed. Garrett Mitchell, Cletus made a post, and that's sadly what. It chokes you up when you start thinking about it. It's sadly been confirmed, and I can't imagine what just the Mitchell family's feeling as well as the Biffle family. I feel terrible for Cletus and everyone. Travis Cletus McFarland confirmed it himself. Garrett Mitchell made a post. The plane was headed to Bradenton. Sadly, sadly, Biffle, his wife, and kids have been killed. Yes, it has been confirmed. It has officially been confirmed, Kevin. Yes, it has. Sadly, Cletus McFarland confirmed it himself. I mean, that's pretty big. And then now the NASCAR community has since confirmed it. But yeah, it has sadly been confirmed. But I can't imagine what Cletus, Maddie, and his family's feeling. I can't imagine what Garrett's feeling right now. The plane was headed to visit with them in Bradenton, and then after that, I believe they were headed to the Bahamas, and just a sad tragedy all around. It's devastating. Just the whole thought process behind it. It's just you can't wrap your head around it. Obviously, we know there's been devastating plane crashes since the beginning of time, and a lot of famous people over the years. This is another one that hits hard. But yeah, Kevin, I see you keep posting the same thing. It has been confirmed. I will have to ban you if you keep on posting the same thing. It has been confirmed. So I'm going to have to ban you. You're not following guidelines. You're not being respectful. But yeah, it has been confirmed. Just all my love and prayers go to the NASCAR community, the racing community as a whole, what he meant to this, to the racing community, the nation for that matter. The man was a humanitarian too. Let's remember that. All the countless lives he saved. He was a hero. I'll be the first one to tell you he was a hero. Uh, we can definitely, I think, take comfort in he's resting in the arms of our Lord and Savior. He was a good man, and it sucks, as I said. It absolutely sucks. You wish, I was hoping, praying that it was just a plane owned by him. You know, you still don't like to see loss of life, but you were hoping against hope that it wasn't them on board. But unfortunately, it was, and it's been confirmed. And I can't imagine what, like I said, what the parents of them is feeling right now, or Cletus and Maddie. But it's just, it's an awful day. Please, yeah, I'm gonna ban Kevin. Hold on. Okay, Kevin's been banned. There you go. But I'm asking everyone to just leave a nice comment. Share a story if you got to meet him, got to see him race in person, or you watched a YouTube channel. Please leave a nice comment. That's what this is about. Share the love. That's what's needed in a time like this. We can all share a good story, I'm sure, somewhere, but that's what we should do. Not try to say this or say that, or but just share the love. So yeah, Brittany, I watched him for a long time. Always been a fan of the number 16. Always been a fan. How it started for me, like I said, was I watched NASCAR ever since I was little. My first starting my NASCAR story and then getting to Greg Biffle. My first NASCAR story, how I started watching NASCAR, was I was probably about 5 or 6 years old. I remember watching Jeff Gordon back in 1994, so I guess probably 6 years old, somewhere in there, 5, 6 years old. Watching Jeff Gordon, and yeah, try rooting for Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Sr., being a fan of both. Figure that one out, but I liked them both. I did. I actually started watching NASCAR because of Jeff Gordon. Coincidentally, he had my dad's first name and my grandfather's last name, so that's how I started liking him, when I realized he was fast and winning. But that's what started it, and I always watched Biffle run, but I wasn't a huge fan of his until pastime. And then that's when I realized just what a cool guy Greg Biffle was. He was a cool dude. He's big into the whole hot rodding culture, and he had a car on pastime where you guessed the lap. And so that turned me into a fan of Biffle when I realized just how much he loved motorsports in general. And what a wonderful man he was. I don't think you could say anything bad about the guy. I don't think he was just a good driver. Reminded you of the guy, yeah, he was on factory team, but he always gave off that blue collar mentality, and that's what I loved about the Biff. That's what I loved about the Biff. Yeah. like I said in a previous comment that one of you made, I'd be all on board if they did. I definitely think that that is fair, and not just because of what happened. I think he's worthy of NASCAR's Hall of Fame. I would definitely be on board with that for sure. He had a solid enough Cup career with I think 18 or 20 wins, somewhere right around there, and then when you factor in the Busch series and all that, I think he had a very fine career. But watching his YouTube channel, you really got to experience him, his wife, his family, and that's what hits the hardest, honestly. That's what gets you choked back up again, honestly. When you fathom how young the kids were, and God, that the boy Ryder who was in all the videos just seemed like such a sweet child. It breaks your heart. It does. There's there's no other words. It breaks your heart beyond belief. And yeah, Ryder was amazing. I agree. Seemed like just a sweetheart of a kid. Both the kids seemed like they were sweethearts of kids, but Ryder just seemed like he was just a fun-loving kid. It it I you can't you really just can't. It's hard to wrap your head around it. But God bless the Biff, his family, the NASCAR community, our nation, and everything he did for the people of Florida, the Carolinas. His humanitarian efforts will live on. I'm sure they will live on. I'm hoping. I can't remember. Did he receive a Medal of Freedom? Does anyone know? If so, can you put that in the comments? Did he receive a Medal of Freedom for that? But if not, that would be something that I could see him posthumously receiving, for sure. He was a hero, and I think we should remember that he was a hero. He was a hero first off. But I plan on watching. I'm sure there'll be several videos. I'm sure Kenny Wallace will put one out in due time if he hasn't already. Eric Estep is one to keep an eye on YouTube. He always has good insight. He's a better talker than me. Sometimes I just feel like I'm rambling, running in circles. I'm not as well spoken. I'll be the first one to admit that. I sometimes get nervous doing a live video. So I apologize if at any point you feel like I'm just going in circles. I'm not as well spoken in terms of that, but keep an eye out for Eric Estep's YouTube channel. I'm sure he'll have good perspective and probably have a wonderful video on the Biff. But just devastating news. You pray to God to just comfort his family. The ones who are alive have to deal with this tragedy. Again, the Mitchells, knowing that the plane was en route for Bradenton. I mean, that just smacks so much harder when you think about that they were on their way to visit with Cletus, Garrett, and their family, and that they were going to spend the day together. Hope the goal was to just enjoy the day, and obviously we know what happened, and that wasn't God's plan. But one thing, being of Christian faith, believing in God, it's tough. I find myself questioning tragedies, or if you lose a loved one or this or that, we all question it. We don't know the answers, but I guess it's not us to question his will, but it just devastating news. No, Greg was not the pilot, Todd. It what was confirmed on the pilot, I can't remember his name. It may have been Mark or something, but the pilot was also apparently a driver. Well, not apparently. Kenny Wallace wouldn't, but he was a driver for Kenny Wallace for 6 years also. So even though Greg Biffle flies, it was a separate pilot flying the plane. Yeah. Van, I cannot 100% confirm on if the daughter was on board, but I'm thinking so, going by the number of fatalities. And then Cletus said he knew Ryder and Greg and Christina were on board, but didn't know if Emma was. I'm thinking, sadly, yes, Emma was, just going by the unfortunately going by the body count. Yeah, I'm gonna say she probably was, but I don't wanna say that without 100% certainty. But it would appear that yes, the daughter was also on the plane. It would appear that way, unfortunately. But it's just damn. It sucks. It sucks. I mean, being a NASCAR fan and following the YouTube channel, it hurts. It's just devastating, because yes, he was a very good person. Yes, A-Dubs, FTW, yes, sadly, he was on the plane. It's been confirmed by Garrett Mitchell, Cletus McFarland also, and then, yeah, since NASCAR has also confirmed it. But yes, unfortunately, our worst fears did come to reality. You wish it wasn't true. Unfortunately, it was. But it's a day of reflecting on the man he was. It's a day of reflecting on the man he was. Hey, he lived, we can say this, he lived life to the fullest, and it's just a terrible day. Terrible day. As I said, God be with his living family. God be with Garrett and Maddie Mitchell. I can't imagine. But yeah. It's just an unspeakable tragedy. An unspeakable tragedy. So, trying to be positive, what's your favorite memory of Greg? What do you have a win that any of you that just really jumped out at you? A significant moment? Please leave it in the comments. That's what we're aiming for, is nothing but love. Share the stories, because I mean, I know they're there. So but yeah, that's what we're aiming for. Leave a wonderful comment if you can. But if you got a good story on the man he was, if you knew him, got to meet him, whatever, be sure to share that experience too. But it hurts. It absolutely hurts. I I might, I don't know if I can think something out. I might try to write it, because usually if I just do something on the whim like today, I just find myself running around in circles repeating myself a lot. But I might try to make another video tonight, more collected of thoughts, more about his career, how it impacted, and then maybe cover his YouTube channel more, his but I'll probably try to do a more well thought out video in the evening. I'm sorry if it does sound like I'm running in circles at points, but I I unfortunately am doing this on the whim, and it's hard to sometimes just think about what yeah, Brad, it's yeah, that's what really chokes you up when you process that. That's what broke me down in tears. Brady Newman, that's what broke me down in tears. When you think about it, you watch the YouTube channel, and you just seen what a sweet, fun-loving child he was, Ryder. It's just, I, yeah, it hurts. It's a disgusting tragedy. It's god awful. No, I did not live in Arizona. I've been a Missourian all my life. I have been told I look like a few people. That happens. But yeah, I've lived here in Missouri all my life. I've been around, but mainly Missouri. But yeah. Back to the Biffle, the PRI. It obviously I didn't know him personally, no, but I've met him, and when you think about stuff like that, it smacks you sometimes even a little harder when you meet someone you like, respect. A hero. He was a hero to, he was a hero to somebody, a lot of people. So yeah, but knowing they were just there, and I missed getting to see them this year. It does. It smacks you hard. I did not make PRI this year, and now I feel extra terrible about it, for the fact I would have been looking for them to chat a bit again, but yeah, yeah. Yes, he was very down to earth, Todd. He was a very down to earth. Um, what I can say, and honestly, I'll even throw his name out there for the ones who think he can be just a jerk. Tony Stewart's actually really down to earth in person, same way. But a lot of the drivers, you chat with them in person, and maybe you do get 15, 20 minutes at like a PRI where you could chat with them for maybe even, they give you a half an hour of their time. They're all wonderful people. They really are. But he was extremely down to earth. Sure, he was a racer. Sure, he was famous. Sure, he was all those things. But he was very, very down to earth. He'd talk to anyone just like any normal person. He really would. And that was one of the special things about the Biff, for sure. Yes, he was very down to earth. Just good people, good people, good people. But it's gonna be a shock to see no more, no more YouTube videos, no more this, no more that. It's going to be a shock. It's going to be it, well, it is a shock. It's not gonna, but it's just it's going to be a weird feeling for a few weeks, just processing, getting over the whole thing, and just knowing what happened. But yeah, for some of you jumping on, because I see some of you still don't know, for the ones just jumping on who don't completely know, Greg Biffle, his wife Christina, and their two kids were on their private plane headed to Bradenton to spend the day with Cletus McFarland, Garrett Mitchell, his wife Maddie, and their family. And the plane experienced engine trouble shortly after takeoff. What was reported and radioed was there was a loud popping sound. So they turned the plane around, and unfortunately, we know well, yeah. But sadly, that's what took place for the ones still asking what happened. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be some beautiful tributes, Brady. I'm sure there will. Keep an eye out on Kenny Wallace's channel, Eric E. Step on YouTube, Dirty Mo Media. Keep an eye out there. But I'm sure there'll be wonderful tributes. The man was a wonderful guy. I mean, there'll be some great tributes. And I'm sure as more people gain their composure, there'll be more things coming, more videos and so on. But as of right now, it's just a sad day. I can't, like I said, I can't imagine not just what the living Biffle family, I can't imagine what they're going through. But yes, Vigilum, yes. The fact, I can't imagine, like I said several times in this, I can't imagine what the Mitchells are feeling. Yeah. I can't imagine what Cletus is feeling right now. It's a gut punch of sadly epic proportion. It's just something none of us should experience. Yeah, I'll be the first one. Well, you could still see my eyes. My eyes are still pink. There you go. I was teary-eyed myself. If you got a heart, you're gonna cry. I mean, if you got compassion, you're gonna cry. I'll be the first one to admit I was in tears. You don't have to be you don't have to be weak to cry. Any grown men, look at me. I got a big old beard. Hey, we can be. Hey, this is terrible day. It sucks. I'll be the first to admit I was crying too. Yes, yeah, the kids are what hits probably the hardest. Well, not probably, they do. That knowing that the kids are gone, yes, Todd. That definitely hits the hardest. That's probably what really broke me down. That's what honestly broke me down. It's devastating. I wish I knew more of what to say in the immediate, just going live on the whim. as I said, it's hard to have full thought. So I will try to collect and make a better video, write things down to cover properly so it doesn't seem like I'm just going around in circles, because I feel like that's sadly the way I feel like with this live stream right now. Like I'm just going back in circles. This is Saturday, and it's hard to gather thoughts on the fly. I'll be first one to admit that, but it's just sad. Not that it makes things better, but I am looking forward to seeing the NTSB reports, since I'm somewhat involved in the airplane community. So I would like to see the what exactly failed. But I'm assuming one of the engines let out. Since they experienced a bang, I'm thinking one of the engines probably blew, is my guess. Diesel, sadly it was Greg Biffle and his family, Diesel. Yeah, sadly it was the Biff. And it's a awful tragedy. I wish didn't have to report that. I'm also, like I said, very bummed I didn't go to PRI this year due to just finances. And then, well, I mean, I could have went. Finances technically wasn't a problem. It's just more timing. I didn't have time with my work this year. I chose hunting, so I didn't get to go to PRI because I chose hunting and took my days off for that instead. But would have loved to have got to visit with them at least one final time. But yeah, it sucks. It sucks. But yeah. So, I think, as I know, the final racing event Greg got to do was, I believe, on his own land. I believe they had a dirt race. I believe they had a dirt race. I can't remember if it was a Crown Vic or what kind of dirt race. It may have been Crown Vic, but I think that was the last event that he got to do, I believe, in terms of racing. I do not know. There's still probably is some sort of ties. Yeah, I'd imagine he probably was still very much tied to Roush. Yes, if I was. But as far as today goes, I'd say if you guys want maybe better perspectives, better heads, I'd say, like I said, I'd say keep an eye on Dirty Mo Media on YouTube. I'm sure Dale will release something. Keep an eye on Kenny Wallace, and then Eric Estep. Eric he's been a NASCAR fan his whole life. And that kid, well, I mean, he's a man, but a young man. He does a very, very good job. So I'd say keep an eye out for them. I'm sure they'll have good insight, good perspective, good stories, which that's what I'm going to work on this evening. Try to have some decent stories, just better, more collected, thought out perspective. But that's what I'll aim for this evening. And just kind of go from there. Yeah, sadly, same way, Terry. I watched his YouTube channel every time they posted something new. Greg posted something new, I was watching, yes. In fact, yeah, I was watching a video yesterday. I really was. So yeah. It definitely smacks you hard when you realize you're just watching a video just the other day. So yeah, I definitely get it, Terry. But oops, hold on. If like I said, if you can, if you have any of you got to meet them, or just have a cool racing story, whatever it may be, drop it in the comment. Leave something on how Greg impacted you. Let's go with that. But drop something in the comment on that, and just kind of go from there. But I'd personally, again, I would personally like to see if they I would like to see NASCAR do I'm sure they're going to do a big tribute, but I would definitely, and it's not just because of what happened either, I would definitely be okay if they put him in NASCAR's Hall of Fame. I think he's probably right about there. I would say I think that's pretty fair. Yes, sadly, Michael, it has been confirmed. Garrett Mitchell, which is Cletus, he confirmed it, and then NASCAR has also confirmed it, unfortunately. But yeah, legendary. Yeah. Sadly, hold on, let me wait for this vehicle to pass. Sadly, in a very short amount of time, yes, Greg and Cletus made a lot of cool memories together in a very short amount of time. Yeah, lot of cool videos, and it's gonna be rough knowing that, unfortunately, we're not gonna get to see any more of that, unfortunately. But God, yeah, he had a great YouTube channel himself. A lot of cool videos. A lot of cool videos. But yeah, it's just, it sucks. It sucks bad. But yeah, hold on, let me see, what's that? Yeah, they are two, Bernard, yeah, they are two completely different tragedies, but they can still definitely hit the same. Tragedy, unfortunately, is tragedy, as we know. And this does have a weird, eerie feeling, kind of like it does remind you of 2001. I will say that in its own way, the way it hits, it does. I will go along with that. It definitely gives you that same feeling. It really does. Yes, 2001 was a shit year. I'll agree. Very shit year on multiple levels. Yeah, I wish it was a bad dream. I wish it was a bad dream too. It's hard to believe that this happened. It's devastating. I can't imagine what everyone's thinking, especially the ones who were very close to him and knew him and raced with him. Can't imagine. Yes, life is. Yes, David, life is. We're only here for a short time, so we should all try to live life the right way. Be the best people we can. And try to make the best of it. Yeah, Mike Higgins, same. I met him a few years ago at PRI, and unfortunately I did not go to PRI this year, and of course he was there. But yeah, that's a bit of a gut punch when you think about it. Oh, nice. So you got to meet him for the New England 900. Well, I could tell you, just like what a lot of other people have been leaving comments, is he was very down to earth. Sure, he was a celebrity. Sure, he had fame. But, man, he'd just converse with you just like any typical man. He was very down to earth. Could yuck it up with anybody. I could tell you that right now. He could yuck it up with anybody. Yes, sadly, Marcy, yes. Yeah, his two little ones were on the plane. Yeah, it's devastating. Both the kids were wonderful, but the one you seen the most of on his channel was Ryder, and just thinking about it, it leaves a disgusting feeling. But yeah, unfortunately, yeah, it's been a very rough NASCAR off season between the 2311 NASCAR and now this. It's just been gut punch after gut punch after gut punch. Mike, I imagine it was probably pretty quick. I mean, I don't like to think on how it went, but yeah, I think they didn't feel anything. But it's just a bummer. It's an absolute bummer. Yes, they were so down to earth. Like I said, if you run into them in person, or PRI, for example, or whatnot, just speak to you like any other, like you're just a regular. Come out there almost feeling like you're friends. But yeah, he was a just great people. great people. He really was. But it's something that you wish never happens, because again, you think about what all he did for Florida or the Carolinas during those hurricanes. He flew his personal helicopter, was rescuing people off rooftops, off hills, in tight areas where a lot of the rescuers didn't even want to stick their helicopters. So, I mean, at the end of the day, let's remember the man he was. He was good people. And we can all, as I said, rest assured, he's in the arms of Jesus. I truly believe him and his family's in the arms of Jesus. So there. That's probably the best way of looking at it, and I truly believe it too. But yeah, it is hard to accept, Dub. I feel the same. It's very, very, very painful, very painful. But things happen. I wish I had more to say. I think I'm about to jump off here, collect thoughts, and try to come up with something for this evening that hopefully does some justice. But thank you, Rob. Thank you. But yeah, I'm only gonna stay on here a few more minutes, then jump off and collect thoughts, and try to come up with hopefully better video this evening that pays good tribute to the man he was. Yes, he was instantly how I look at YouTube, because I also like the no prep and street community. My favorite YouTubers were as follows, and I'd put him right in that handful. You've got Street Racing Channel of Billy Hoskinson. You got Cletus McFarlane. You got The Old Man's Garage, Gen 2 Garage, and then boom, Greg Biffle right there. Those were probably my top 5 right there, period. But absolutely, he had a wonderful, wonderful YouTube channel. Watched it every time there was a new video. Seen every one. But yep, absolutely. Made sure to see every single video. And yeah. Yeah, Stacy, I mentioned that earlier. I wasn't always a Biffle fan on the NASCAR side initially. I mean, I always thought of him as a good race car driver. But what really made me a fan, and that still was a lot of years ago too, was when he was on an episode of Pastime. He brought, my memory's bad. I can't remember if it was a Camaro or what, but he brought one of his cars on the show and made a pass, and that's what made me a Biffle fan. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a tragedy. It's a terrible tragedy. to lose Biffle, his wife, all in the same day, it's just, his kids, it's just, it's rough. It's, can't imagine what, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. But, yeah, that's what really made me a Biffle fan was the show Pastime. When he appeared on that, I really got to see, even before, well, that was years and years before his YouTube days, and then obviously the stuff with Cletus and so on. But you really got to see the kind of person he was, and how blue collar he really was. I mean, he was a guy who just, he liked racing, he liked cars, he liked dirt bikes, he liked ATVs, you name it. I mean, he obviously he liked flying. But yeah, that's what first made me a fan of the Biff. Was that. Amen, B-Rad. Amen. Amen to that. He was relatable. I think, you know what? That is the best. I'm going to say right now, that's one of the best ways to look at the Biff. He was relatable. He was relatable. He reminded you of a typical anyday American who obviously he had luxuries, as we know, but he lived life, I'd say, the right way, and he was relatable. He was very relatable. Just good people in person. I could tell you that. I could tell you that. But yeah, he was a very relatable man. But yeah, it'll be a sad couple weeks for NASCAR though, losing Biffle, his wife, and the two little ones like that's just, it hurts. It definitely smacks hard. But I mean, to the little ones is probably what it hits you the hardest when you're processing, the kids. It's so shocking, and I understand it. So I'm going to share a little story before I jump off here. This was sadly, I never got to know the man. I just wasn't born. But my family is marked in airplane tragedy. My dad's brother, my Uncle Gary, him and his wife were on their honeymoon, flying to Alabama, I believe. Alabama or Arkansas. I don't know. This was before I was born. But they had a pop-up storm on Bald Rock Mountain. And they just didn't see the mountain and hit the side of it. So, unfortunately, I know what tragedy and stuff brings, because my dad was never right. I had a pretty rough childhood because of it. He drank a lot, but I think that was all stemming from that plane crash. But it's very unspeakable when something like that happens, and you don't know how you don't know how different people deal with it, and some people can't. Like when my Uncle Gary's plane crashed on their honeymoon, my dad clearly couldn't deal with it properly. It led to all the problems he had in life. But it just people all take things certain ways. It just it's complicated, we'll just say. Yeah, I definitely remember that one too, the one that took Ricky. Yeah, that was just devastating news. I remember when it happened and they were saying Hendrick plane crashed. I was going, oh dear God, I thought we lost the captain. I thought we lost Rick. I thought we lost his son. I thought we lost, like, maybe even, you didn't know at the time until they started reporting who was on the plane. It had you thinking on who could have been on that plane. But I remember that one too. That was a rough time also. Yeah. Greg Biffle was super cool, but it's gonna be devastating knowing that that happened this morning. But so for the ones still trying to wrap your head around it again, what happened was NASCAR's Greg Biffle, his wife Christina, and their two little ones were on a plane that crashed, unfortunately, this morning. And unfortunately, the plane was headed for Bradenton, and they were gonna visit with Cletus and his family. But sadly, that wasn't meant to be, and that's where we're at. But I'm gonna jump off here now and try to collect some thoughts, come up with a better video for this evening. Maybe see if I can't swipe a few videos off the internet of some Biffle highlights, and as long as I'm allowed to use them, we'll include them in a video later as a tribute. But I'm gonna work on putting something together, and I don't know, that'll be my tribute to him on my racing channel, and hopefully it goes better than a little better than what's going on now. But hopefully I'm a little more collected in thoughts. But I want to thank every one of you for jumping on, joining in. I hope I gave some of you a little bit of comfort and explaining on what took place today. As I said, I thank you guys for bearing with me. One final thing. Just keep basically just keep his family in your thoughts and prayers. Keep Garrett and Maddie Mitchell and their family, Cletus McFarland family, in their thoughts and prayers. Keep the whole racing community as a whole in thoughts and prayers. It's a rough day. It's a rough day. It doesn't seem believable. Being on here for an hour now, it still doesn't seem believable. It's it's honestly, it's hard to accept that this is a reality. It really is, but sadly it is. And 5 wonderful lives were lost. But let's remember the man he was. Let's remember the wonderful family he had, the wonderful career he had, and the countless lives he touched. And as they say, you start rebuilding from there. But I want to thank you all for joining me, putting up with an hour of what feels like rambling at points, but yeah, we'll just we'll go from there. As I said, I'm gonna try to make a video this evening. I'll probably ask a few YouTube collabers, maybe a few within the NASCAR community, if it's all right, if I can use a couple spliced videos and maybe put together some highlights and a pretty decent moving tribute, hopefully this evening on Greg Biffle. But that's gonna be the plan. Since I'm off work today, I've got all the time in the world for this evening, and we'll try to we'll try to do something like that. I would honestly be okay with that. I would honestly be okay if they did something like that, Bernard. I think that would be a very moving tribute. I bet there wouldn't be a dry eye in the stands. There wouldn't be a dry eye in the stands. I actually do think that's a beautiful idea. Sadly, since that's not until February, I don't know if they'd do something like that, but I'm sure there will be a moving tribute regardless at the Daytona 500. I just don't know where they'll go with it, but I do like your thought. I like that thought. I think that that's a wonderful, wonderful idea. As I said, I don't think there'd be a dry eye in the stands. That would be a beautifully moving tribute. That would be. Yes, yes, sir, Timber. It's a rough day. It's a rough day. It's not been an easy one. That's saying the least. It's not been an easy one. Yeah, thank you all for joining in. I can't believe the turnout we had but I mean that shows you the magnitude of the man. I'm just a little YouTube channel of about 12,000 subscribers, something like that, and to have a couple hundred people at one point on and between 150, it shows you the magnitude the man had. No, it shouldn't be about clout chasing. That's disgusting. If someone's doing that, they could F themselves. That is not what that's about at all. No. That is not what that's about. No. It's about the life the man lived. Leave nice comments. I don't want to see that under my comments. Don't do that again, or else you'll be banned also. It's about nice comments, okay? But yeah, I'm gonna try to put together an actual like tribute collage, and as I said, see if maybe I can use a few videos. If I'm not allowed to use clips of races, that's okay. But I'll try to put together something, hopefully a beautiful tribute, and go from there. But thank you, Dustin. Appreciate it. But we're gonna jump off here in just a minute, and like I said, just please leave nice comments. You can. All right, we're gonna have to put him in timeout. That's not cool. All right, yeah, he got removed. That's not cool. We don't need negativity. That is not what this is about. We are not gonna have that. Should be about love, not not saying this, not saying that, not speculating this, speculating that. No. It's about love. We're not going to have that in the chat. I guess he lives up to the name. The guy's a schmuck. Yeah, that was not cool. He's out of the chat. But yeah, I'd love to see them do exactly positive vibes only, Dustin. So getting back to I don't know why I can't think of his name in the chat, but getting back to that, I'd love to. I think they'll do something cool at Daytona. I think they will. I think they'll do a beautiful tribute, and I do. I think probably Charlotte will probably do something too, but yes, exactly, Timber. I talked about that earlier in the chat and a few times throughout. The man was a hero, flat out. I will say that he was a hero. What he did with the hurricane relief, flying his helicopter into spaces where like the full-blown FEMA and stuff didn't even want to put their helicopters. What Biffle did, the man's a hero. Flat out. He was a hero. Absolutely. Absolutely. He was a hero. And that's how he should be remembered. He should be remembered as he was a down-to-earth, could chat with anybody. He could hold a conversation with anybody. And at the end of the day, he was a hero. Let's remember that. Definitely remember what a hero he was. Absolutely. But it was. Well, I do need to jump off here. Yes. In fact, before I jump off here, Mike Farnsworth, that comment is wonderful. Yes. Please do. As soon as I click off of this live feed, every one of you jump over to Greg Biffle's channel. Every one of you should do that. Definitely jump over to Greg Biffle's channel. Give that channel love and support. But yeah, as soon as I'm off here, all of you should go do that. Go go jump over to that channel and enjoy it. I'm probably going to watch a few of the old videos, including the sand dune one again, probably, and a couple others. But yeah, yeah, definitely do that. I think it's a day of reflecting. If you got the day off, you got the time to do it, enjoy it, enjoy it. But yeah, definitely jump on Greg Biffle's channel. Um, thank you guys. I'm gonna jump off here. Uh, I'll try to, like I said, see if I could come up with something this evening. Hopefully a little collage. But you guys take care, and God bless each and every one of you. And just like I said, continued prayers for Greg Biffle, his family, obviously the Mitchells, Cletus McFarland. It can't imagine what they're going through. And let's just have a day of reflecting. That's what I'm going to do myself right now. I'm going to go watch some Greg Biffle videos. I'll see you all later. Thank you for joining me. God bless.